right, it's 5:30 in the morning in New York. It is Tuesday, the 29th of January. Thanks for starting your day with us. I'm Lauren Simonetti.
And good morning, everybody. I am Cheryl Casoni.
All right, let's get right to it. The Trump administration announcing a pair of indictments against Chinese telecom Huawei, just as high-level trade talks with Beijing are set to begin.
Huawei began a concerted effort to steal information about a robot that T-Mobile used to test mobile phones. Huawei employees allegedly began to misrepresent the company's relationship with its Iranian affiliate, which is called Skycom.
Dean Cheng is a senior research fellow at the Heritage Foundation's Asian Studies Center, and he joins us now. Dean, thank you for coming on again. We always appreciate your perspective in all of this. Those are pretty serious charges by the U.S. against Huawei, and the timing, it couldn't be worse, Dean.
Or it couldn't be better.
Exactly.
Remember, we're about to have negotiations with the Chinese. The U.S. Trade Representative's office last November noted 4 key areas of problems, and they all come down to intellectual property. And what the indictment, particularly about the T-Mobile aspect, emphasizes to the Chinese is, we're not kidding. We will defend American intellectual property rights. If you want a renewed trade relationship, get your house in order.
A lot of this has to do with what China wants to do, the advancements they want to make as the leader in 5G, the next technology that's going to basically power everything that we do in our homes, in our cars, etc. Can China be trusted, and are we effectively dealing with China and the fact that they can't be trusted?
Well, on the one hand, the Chinese are trying to create a global 5G network, which means they're not forcing anyone to buy their stuff. They are pricing and producing quality goods that make them very attractive. But their attitude towards intellectual property highlights that it's very hard to trust them. And if they don't get their act in order, if they continue to act the way they do, then they may well be shut out of key 5G markets. Australia, the United States, Great Britain, Japan have already indicated they are not comfortable with the Chinese. And that crux point is coming up where the Chinese are going to have to decide, do they want intellectual property from other people or do they want markets?
We have trade talks tomorrow and Thursday between the U.S. delegates and the Chinese delegation as well. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that deep divisions remain, that China is set to offer an increase in farm and energy purchases, but just modest reforms in industrial policies. So that is not addressing some of these structural changes, these intellectual property issues that we're discussing. Do you think we can get a draft deal produced out of these negotiations?
I would hope that we would be at least part of the way towards a draft deal. I mean, to be fair to the Chinese, we're asking them for structural changes. That is huge. That's not something that the Chinese can implement in 30 or even 90 days beginning today. But they have to show some good faith efforts.
How do they do that?
Well, one thing I would suggest if I were advising Xi Jinping is for him to order his cyber people to stand down. For 6 months or a year. I mean, live up to the commitment he gave President Obama that there would be an end to Chinese cyber economic espionage.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see come Thursday evening how everything wrapped up. Dean, thank you for coming on this morning. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
All right.